Good morning, I'm Stuart Archer with Northern Marine, and we're on board the Northern Marine 57. This is 5706. We're about a month or so away from splashing, so we've got a lot of mess going on, but we have a couple items I thought we could talk through on our boat that we do a little differently from some of the other builders, and that is our take-home drive device. Being a single-engine boat, the biggest fear that almost everyone has is what happens if I lose my main engine. I've got no power, so therefore I need twins. Can't tell you how many times we've had owners that insist on having twins, and we will do twins, but we then try and educate them with the processes we use. Keeping in mind that the large freighters transiting the oceans are all single engine, and they basically have a similar type of device as what we have here. So here's what we do. The take-home drive is a little different from most in that we use our existing shaft and we use the generator to power it. And using the generator, which in this case is about a 20 kW, equivalent to about 24 horsepower, that'll push this boat about 5.5, 6 knots. And that'll be continuous. That's 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. It'll take you where you need to go in adverse conditions as long as you need it. And that would be including if the transmission failed as well and/or the engine. So how it works is there's a PTO off the generator that drives a hydraulic pump that then engages the take-home drive, which is a push-button control from the pilot house. So you can be driving along and you're in a marina coming in and something catastrophic happens to the engine, not that it's going to, but if it does, you can literally push a button, engage the take-home drive, which is in seconds, and be completely full power reverse forward with a proportional control that'll take you at half a knot to whatever range you need to, and it's very easy to control, very easy to turn on. So the differences are using this existing shaft is that it's very efficient. You have the keel protected. You have a big prop that we use, 5-blade nibral, that just isn't going to bend or break. A very short shaft that's behind the keel, so it's not going to bend or contort. So in our beliefs, if you're going to hit anything, the keel is going to help protect you, whereas if you had a wing engine, that wing engine and propeller and shaft is exposed. There's no protection, so if a net or a log were to come down the side of the hull, it would take that off. The other part about, say, wing engines are that they tend to crab. The boat will want to go sideways through the water. They're not as efficient that way, and the speed is more like 2 knots or 3 knots at best. So if you're in a seaway, if you're in against some currents, that's going to be difficult to make any kind of headway, whereas at least you have 5.5 or 6 knots. You've got a good chance of not only getting home, but getting home without any other potential problems that are happening. So that's the take-home. The sea chest, we use basically a couple penetrations to the hull. One is the sea chest that all the water comes in, and then a dump chest on the other side where all the water goes out. Each one of these engine, generators, water makers, whatever it might be, has its own shutoff. It has its own filter, and then there's a central shutoff at the very base of the sea chest so that you can turn it off in case there's a bag or something that's restricting it. So while you're underway, you don't have to haul out. You can take off the inspection port up here, which you can literally see through, put your hand in there, take care of any problems or garbage or whatever, clear your issue, seal it back up, turn the water back on, and off you go. Very nice, very convenient when you're 1,000 miles out. And then lastly, one of the other items that we do a lot different is the underwater exhaust system. And we start out dry through a big cowl muffler. We then run it along the top of the engine room, bend it down, inject it with water, and then out the bottom. And the reason most people do not use this system is because there's high back pressure, and we have a fairing on the bottom that basically draws a negative pressure in there and pulls that exhaust out, so we run at very low pressure, so we don't have any soot, we don't have any noise, and it's a very clean system. Whereas if we had something like a dry stack system on board where everything went up the top, that means you now have to make a passageway through your interior for ducting. and it's running through your prime space, and when you start up in the morning, you have a tendency to potentially get some soot. You certainly hear some noise. So we're thinking this is a better system because it doesn't affect any of your interior quarters or interior living space, which is really critical on these boats, every inch is. So we try and do it that way. This is a very nice, clean system. So those are just 3 examples of how we do things differently. And if you'd like some more information on what we do, or if you'd like some information on this 57 or other models, please call us at Northern Marine or northernmarine.com, or my cell number 360-661-4579. Thank you.